On today's Fuelin sessions, I'm joined by Daniela Ryf and Frederic Funk. And what we're discussing is Challenge Roth. This is actually Fred's first attempt at a full distance Ironman, and he's doing it on home soil. Danny, being the previous record holder for Roth, is here to give advice and obviously some tips, things that Fred doesn't know about Roth and what to expect. It's a great chat. Fred also covers how the season's gone to date, and whilst it hasn't been perfect, he acknowledges the reasons why. So sit back, relax, and enjoy this chat. Welcome back to Fuelin Sessions. Got a great one today, and I am joined by two legends of the sport, Daniela Ryf and Freddie Funk. Daniela, Freddie, welcome to Fuelin Sessions.
Thank you.
Thanks, Scott. Thanks for describing me as a legend, but I'm definitely not on the same level as Danny.
I wouldn't say that. I was surprised when I heard you have your first Ironman or long distance race. I thought you've done a few already. I don't know. So you definitely were in the scene, very present. So I think I'll be I think that's what we talk about today, right, Scott?
Absolutely. Well, I mean, it's funny you say that, Fred, because I love actually using ChatGPT to describe my guests. And I usually have to throw in a few little prompts, but I think I said keep it short and make it funny and quite lively. So just for those who don't know both of you, but I'm sure that's very few listening to this podcast, Daniela Ryf is a Swiss triathlon legend with 5 Ironman world titles and 5 70.3 world titles, and a habit of turning races into solo time trials. Quiet off course, savage on it. She's the angry bird who made domination look routine. Now retired, but still the standard everyone else is chasing. And I thought that was pretty accurate. So
thanks.
Well done, ChatGPT. And then for Freddie, it came up with Frederic Funk is a German triathlete with a serious bike power, a love for data, and a name built for racing. Euro champ, PTO podium regular, and now tackling Ironman. And again, I thought it did a pretty bloody good job.
Just missing the 10 world titles.
Well, you got the bike power, so that's all you need, right? Or not all you need, but a good base for it.
Yeah, look, it's all coming. And I guess that's a good segue, actually, because what we are talking about today is Roth, Challenge Roth, which is actually your first full distance Ironman, Fred. And, I think before we dive into that and why you decided to make Roth your first full distance Ironman, I thought, you've traditionally smashed the 70.3 distance. And what has 2025 looked like for you so far? How are you shaping up physically and mentally heading into Roth?
Yeah, so the big goal for especially the first half of the season, or actually probably the whole year, was Challenge Roth. Decided it together with my coach last winter that we are finally going to tackle my first long distance. And basically from there, I was just all we did in training, heat training in Australia, altitude training. I had 2 altitude camps. It was just all a big build up for Roth. And I was still got a T100 contract for this season with my 10th place in the series last year. So that was another big goal. But especially for the first half of the season, I was just not focused too much on the T100. In my head, of course, I wanted to do well. But in my head, it was just always Roth. And that's why the first 2 T100 races I did this year in Singapore and Vancouver, unfortunately, didn't go as well as good as I wanted. Because I think I wasn't in the right headspace specifically for these races on this high level. So unfortunately, I didn't get the confidence in racing this year yet, which I would have loved to get for Roth. But I think anyway, a long distance is a completely different story compared to middle distance. So, I mean, Dani can say something for it maybe, but at least I'm telling that to myself. And yeah, Roth is now in less than 2 weeks, and I still, despite the season not going so well until now, racing wise, my training went really well. So I'm still like actually really confident for Challenge Roth, and super excited actually like to do my first long distance. And I have to say, I haven't enjoyed something as much as the training in the last few weeks for my first long distance. And yeah, I think maybe that's already a sign that I'm more built for the even longer stuff.
Well, I think, Danny, before you jump in, it's obviously at the start of the year, Fred and his team reached out to me and asked whether I'd be interested working with Fred. And obviously I jumped at the chance because I had met Fred previously across, I think, at last year's Singapore T100 event, and we got on pretty well. And he seemed, you were really interested, Fred, in sort of what we were doing with Fuelin and nutrition. And, I will say, it's been tough. I think it has been tough the start of the year, and it's been tough for me sort of looking at the results and thinking, oh, are we doing something wrong? But I think talking to you and looking at the training you're doing and how you're executing that, Dan and you have a plan. And as you say, that it's tough, I imagine, because your races have been so high octane. I mean, you just look at what numbers the guys are producing at the moment, with the T100 races, and it's just not, it hasn't been sort of the training that you've been doing. And so I guess what I'm trying to say is it's been really encouraging working with you and seeing your progression with nutrition and how you're tackling that specific to the long distance. And I am excited to see what you end up doing from the long distance perspective, because I think it's building quite nicely. And I think a lot of athletes are going to be, not surprised, but I think you're going to do very, very well at Roth.
Yeah, me too. I think definitely from a term of body wise, you are a long distance athlete. It's kind of what I always was scared to go into the long distance. I always thought this middle distance is kind of the most fun distance. But then when I did the long, I realized the bike power is where you can really make the difference. And I think body wise, I could definitely see you doing well on the long distance. So even if you had a few races in the short distance, I think it's the base work and all the hard bike sessions and the strength that will help. And I think Roth will really suit you. And you got the how do you say, the Heimvorteil. So definitely that will also help. When you race in your own country. I mean, the atmosphere there, the support from the spectator. I felt like I was also supported very, very well as a Swiss, and I think for a German it's even more extreme. So yeah, definitely you should look forward to it and also have fun. I think that helps. And yeah, I think the first long distance is the easiest because you don't know what to expect. So I think just go out there and also trust in your body, because like for me, for example, I would never do, before my first Ironman, I never did even a 4-hour ride, and I was scared to not even do the distance. And then I realized, this feels more natural. And I could see you feeling like this when you're racing, that it's shorter than you might expect, even though, of course, it's a long day, but you can push hard even on a long distance race.
Fred, and actually, Danny, in relation to where you would have been coming into Roth, like, had you had similar experiences to what to Fred's experiencing now, like maybe some races that weren't geared towards the training, and how did you handle that, and what sort of advice would you be giving to Fred?
Yeah, I remember actually the year where I gave up Frankfurt. I'm not sure if it was 17, where I had a DNF in Frankfurt because I was freezing on the bike. And I mean, I was very disappointed. I think mentally I was being like, I felt, giving up is not it's never, I didn't have many races which I gave up, but there I was literally not capable of doing anything. And so I decided to do Roth the week after. And I think for me, that was almost like for my confidence boost, I could get the confidence through that race. And I think sometimes, it's normal as an athlete that you always a little bit doubt yourself as well, because I think from the day where you don't have any doubts, that's when you start to be arrogant, and to have a bit of a doubt, like, did I do enough? Am I fit enough? Is absolutely normal. And I think even on my best years or in my best shape, I still, before the race, each long distance race, I felt not sure if I was able to do it. So I think it's normal to have these feelings. And then in the same time, like I said before, it's also okay to have, the courage to really push it. So it's really to find that fine line between thinking, oh, it's going to be a long day, a hard day, but also have the courage to actually go for it.
Yeah, I love that. Fred, when you hear that and like where you are at the moment, and obviously as you said, like, the T100s haven't gone quite as planned. In terms of, you're a bit of a data man, as we all know, and you like your numbers. Like, can you give us an insight into sort of where you're at, training specific, and sort of, whether you're happy to divulge any numbers or not, but where are you at sort of in your head currently, sort of in terms of the swim, bike, run for the full distance?
So Dan and me made actually a decision at the beginning of the year, because we're still, other than Challenge Roth, racing only T100 and maybe some 70.3s this season. So we decided to not really make a big switch in terms of training, like kind of doing the first long distance with more or less 70.3 training, also just to keep up the speed. And I've probably have so many years yet on long distance where we can really fully focus then on it. We kind of did that for until my last altitude camp. And then we just introduced, the only thing we actually changed was that we did some longer runs, which is like kind of the only thing I wouldn't do if I'm training only for 70.3. So I had like 2 30K runs in my last altitude camp. And now yesterday actually was like the third and also the last long run before Challenge Roth in 2 weeks, which was also my longest run ever. I actually covered 36 kilometer with also a bit of race pace in it, in the heat as well. So it was a lot of fun, I have to say. So it also didn't really kill me. It felt really good. So that was nice to feel that, like, I think I can do a marathon. I mean, how fast we will see in the race, especially after 3.8K swim and 180K bike ride. I think it will feel a bit different. It's just like Danny said. I just don't know how it feels, or how it should feel to be ready for a long distance. I mean, I think I trained well, and obviously I can finish a long distance. That's not the problem, but it's a big difference if you finish it in 7.5 hours or 8 hours. It's like, especially in the pro field. So and I just have no idea where I stand there. I just have no idea what pace I should go. Should I stay rather conservative? Should I maybe really risk it, but then maybe blow up or something? Like I just really don't know. So that's really something like something unknown, which also makes it really exciting, the first long distance. And also like Danny said, like maybe that's what makes it the easiest, because you just don't know what to expect. I already heard that from many other long distance athletes who said the same thing. The first one is the easiest.
Well, I think don't they say what the swim is the warm up for the bike, and then the bike's the warm up for the run. So as long as you're nice and warm for the Danny, you're disagreeing.
No,
That's just what I've been told.
I think I would put a bit more how do you say, relevance on the bike. I used to kind of try to make the difference on the bike, just also knowing that you have a, Anne Haug chasing. So yeah, for me, I always looked at that as the more time you can gain on the bike, the easier you can take the marathon. And then, so that was my motivation to work on the bike. And then for some reason, I could always run. Maybe not my best ever runs, but I felt like pushing it on the bike, I could definitely also make a lot of time. Like it's hard to run 5 minutes faster, but even the last 20K, you can still make up 2-3 minutes, maybe 5 if someone starts to ride slower. And I think often, yeah, like I was never a fan of just warming up on the bike, as you probably, if you watched the races, you probably know. And I could see Fred like this.
Bike for dough,
yeah.
run for show.
Pardon?
Bike for dough, run for show.
Yeah.
The other way around.
Exactly. Well, I mean, what I am interested in, Fred, and it's like that transition to the longer, you said then longer runs off the bike. How's it been from a nutrition perspective? Obviously, we've worked, with Singapore, we were working within the heat and working on trying to, consume the amount of carbohydrates, get the amount of fluids in, because you have a very, very high sweat rate and high power output. Same for going into Vancouver, obviously cooler conditions, but similar sort of power output, and you're trying to manage that. How have you found the transition with nutrition to the longer distance? Has it been difficult for you?
No, the opposite, I would actually say. Like, I mean, obviously finding out, I always knew like I'm sweating a lot, but I think I never really just drank enough for it. So just kind of like starting drinking a lot more, hydrate a lot more, already made a huge difference in terms of performance, especially on the longer rides, longer runs. Like in the end, I don't have a big drop off in performance. And then nutrition wise, I never had a big problem to like eat a lot. Like I'm working together with Powerbar, which works really well for me. And now, now I'm actually going less power, but for longer. And I feel like this way I can I just have also more energy, like to digest, and also just maybe also more time to eat. Like if I'm not going like at threshold or even over threshold, where you can barely breathe, and then you still have to drink and eat a gel. It's like easy to forget, especially in the races. And yeah, I think now on the long distance, I think it will be easier, and also something for the 7.5 to 8 hours, which I can focus on, and you use the time, think about a nutrition strategy when it gets mentally harder, maybe.
Yeah, in terms of like, your fuel consumption is still very high. Like, have you found consuming the amount of carbohydrates, and just so everyone sort of is aware, it is sort of in that upper sort of 120 sort of grams per hour. Are you finding it for the duration difficult, or are you just not really noticing it at all?
I obviously haven't done like a 8-hour session, so I don't know about that, but like for the sessions I did, it was never really a problem. And even the opposite, it's like good to come home from a 4 or even 5-hour ride, where I just like had this 120 grams per hour, and I'm not feeling like super exhausted and super hungry right after it, which is obviously really good for recovery as well. And I could actually imagine like running off the bike, maybe not a marathon, that doesn't get into my in my head yet, but that's and then especially with the heat, it's also like even on the hot days I managed to get a lot of carbs in, and didn't find it like it's too much. So yeah, it's something, it works really well, but it's also something which I implement in my training multiple times per week to actually, like, especially now in the last weeks, to actually really go up to this amount. So I really practice it. Get my stomach used to it, my body used to it. And I definitely feel like that it's also going even better now than it was like maybe 2-3 months ago.
Yeah, it's been interesting watching the progression, and obviously I can see when you're logging everything in Fuelin, but just just seeing that consistency in terms of every session that is over, at race pace or above, for that extended duration where you are sort of, I guess, piling the carbs in. It's nice to see, and it's also nice to hear that the recovery is one of the things that you're noticing the most, and that's, just talking to you offline. Just obviously, you're in a pretty solid training block at the moment, and coming back from some potential jet lag. It's nice to hear that you're not actually struggling with the training load at this point in time. Mate, why, you sort of touched on it, but like, why did you decide to switch to long distance? Why have you made that choice now in 2025? And why Roth? I mean, I imagine Roth because you're German and it sort of fits, but why the long distance? What was itching, needed to be scratched?
Yeah, so ultimately it was always my big goal to be like the best on the long distance. It was never really like I want to perform. I mean, obviously it got there, but like in the beginning, it was always long distance. When I was a kid, I was watching the Ironman in Kona, and just loved it. Watched Danny smash it, and I was just inspired by everyone doing this. And back then it was also like, I think 70.3 was not really like, I think most athletes who were racing 70.3 weren't like focusing on that distance. This was like just like the long distance athletes basically doing like some shorter races. And I think that when I switched to 70.3 from like short distance racing, which was in 2018, it was almost still like that. So it was like, I will do this for maybe 2-3 years, and then use it like as a step up to the longer distance. But then in that years when I did it, like it got more and more competitive. The prize money got more as well. The sponsors got more interested in it, and then obviously the PTO came on board as well, and that made a big difference suddenly. Like suddenly it was like this 70.3 or 100-kilometer distance racing was like really big, and you had so many athletes focusing only on that distance, and it just like made it more interesting, more competitive, and also more interesting for me. So I was like, okay, I'm still young. I have so many years in still in the sport, and so many years on which where I can do long distance. So I decided to stay another year or another 2 on the middle distance and focus on this PTO or T100 thing. And then it was actually for 2024 when I was like, okay, now I'm ready. I want to do my first long distance. But then PTO introduced the T100 series. And then I was like, okay, maybe I should give this another go. And which I did. So I moved my long distance premiere for another year to 2025, and but then I was like, for this year I was like, finally, okay, come on, now I will do one. It will be the only one for the year. I won't do another Ironman or anything later in the year. It will just be changed Roth next to T100, and I think that's a good start, a good introduction into the next step.
So many opportunities these days. It's crazy. Yeah, makes it hard to decide. But I'm interested. I think when you tried the long distance, you might discover a new. I always said when I went to the long distance, I felt I found my right sandcastle to play. So I'm interested. Then I'll send you a text after, maybe not the day after, but a week after. I'm interested to see what you think, how it is. But
and obviously, I'm imagining Roth was chosen because you are German. Was that the main motivation there? Obviously, Roth has a lot of, I guess, history around it, and also there's a lot of, what's the best word to describe it, Danny? You've been there. I mean, just everybody I know that has either raced Roth or knows of Roth talks about it in such high regards. What really motivated you, Fred, to go and do Roth?
So it's a lot of reasons. So my first ever triathlon when I was just 5 years old was the junior race at Challenge Roth, which is happening the day before. And my parents have had a professional license as well. They were always racing in Roth. They loved the race, and so I was there a lot, not only to race the kids race, but also to watch my parents. I even crossed the finish line already multiple times in Roth. Maybe without doing the full distance before, at just the last 100, 200 meter, running over the finish line with my mom or my dad. And so that was just like, and then the last years I was there for my sponsors at the big expo, just like signing autographs, making pictures with the fan, which was always I have to say like a shock, because it's like you're going there and I'm not even racing, but then there's like 500 people coming to make pictures with me, and I'm like, it's crazy. I'm not, I'm not world champion or anything. I'm not Daniela Ryf. I'm not Jan Frodeno. But Roth is just like, it's a different world. It's insane to imagine. If you haven't been there before, I think it's just, you can't imagine it. And then of course at the course with like the 300,000 spectators, the solar hill, like the pictures you see, I think it's just it's already incredible. And I think then experiencing that as an athlete was like always something I was so excited for. And so and then as like, of course, as a German professional, it just made sense to do this as my first one. Probably makes it a bit easier as well, to have all the German fans there shouting my name. And
does that put pressure on you though? Do you feel the pressure to perform because you are German, you're on home soil?
There is of course some pressure, but I feel like for this one I can easily put it away from me, because it's like, my first long distance. I have nothing to lose. Of course, I think the one who has the highest expectations is myself. So like that's the biggest pressure in the end of the day. But the pressure which comes from the fans or from the sponsors or from outside is not like, it rather motivates me than makes me like want to perform really badly. And I'm excited to to see everyone there and hear my name on the course. And I think like in the race it will help me for sure.
What about you, Danny? Like, you obviously raced there several times. What was your sort of experience, and comparing that to, say, different Ironmans, even Kona, like your experience of Roth versus Kona?
Yeah, I think, even, Kona for us is maybe the biggest race in the year. I would definitely think Roth has similar history or close to similar history. And having seen, Chrissy there, Chrissy Wellington racing, doing the world record many years ago. And I think it's in our sport, it's one of the most important and also biggest races. And I think it's also really the atmosphere which makes it different. It's also how you get treated as an athlete there. I think, like Freddie said, the fans really are, really passionate about triathlon, and also the organization is really taking care about the athletes. And so you feel really welcome when you go to, as soon as you drive into Roth, you feel like you belong there, and it's like a family. And I think that makes it special. I think it's still one of the rare things in other sports where you feel this strong community, and Roth, definitely you can feel that really extreme, that triathlon is a huge community, and everyone kind of it's like a celebration of triathlon.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'll be honest. I mean, I booked my flights this morning, so I'm flying in on the 2nd of July, which will be great. But I've looked at photos of it, and to be fair, it's probably everything I expected Kona to be, like just this crazy mass of people. But actually, the reality is, when I've been to Kona the last 3 times, it's just not the case. So I'm interested to see if the photos of Roth, especially, like, is it the Solar Berg? Is that what it's called?
Yeah, Solar Hill. Yeah, Solarer
Like,
Berg.
I'm just fascinated to see if it is fully like that. I mean, it looks like the the Tour de France, where they're going up the mountain and they're so close, and they've got the balloons and the banners, and they're just waving it in your face. Like, that's what I've always come to expect of, like, world championships or this sort of level of racing. So I think to see that energy, if it is exactly like that, I think it will be something else. So I'm personally very excited to see that. And I think it will get you pretty pumped up. I have heard, though, Danny, and tell me if this is wrong, and I know we are going to get into things about maybe that Fred won't know things about Roth, but I have heard that you can get a little excited going up that Solar Berg, and not to push it too hard. Would that be correct?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think mostly focus on not getting hit. It is really like it is on the picture. Make sure you hold your handlebar tight, and also activate your core, because, you don't want to get like an elbow in. But then also, I mean, I always felt a little bit pumped when I was on the top of the hill. So maybe still control a little bit your watts when you ride up there, because you definitely can't feel pain, because the atmosphere is just so extreme. And it's, I mean, in the end, I think it will give you energy. Definitely soak it in. And for me, I would try to ride the hill controlled, but then just take that energy for the next 20K or so, because it really pumps you up. So make sure to enjoy it. And then I think also the finish, it's, I would say, even more extreme. So even you might have already crossed the finish line on Saturday. I think just no matter how you feel in the race, it's definitely worth to finish it. Even if you would end up having a bad day, make sure to get to the finish line, because that last stadium corners are really insane. And I'm sure the fans will support you no matter what. It's really something special.
I think, Danny, and just touching on that, like, let's go back to 2023. You broke a fairly long-standing record, Chrissy Wellington's record, and you smashed it. I think, was it 8:08 you had in
Yes.
2020? 8:08. Do you want to just walk us a little bit through that, like how that day lined up? Were you expecting to have such a great race, and sort of how did it unfold throughout that day?
Yeah, actually, I had not the best expectations. I'd had Ibiza, the T100, just a few weeks before that race, and had to stop it with some stomach problems. And then, didn't feel that confident coming into that race. But I knew I had trained well before, so I felt a little bit unsure what to expect. And I definitely thought someone will break the record. But I didn't expect it to be me. There was also Laura Philipp and Anne Haug in the race, and Chelsea Sodaro. So I think, it was sometimes to also not expect too much can help. So I just really wanted to get out there and have a good day, because I know that race meant so much to me. And so, I think that I managed to have some good feet being behind Vanella. So I could just kind of hang on, because in the river, there's quite some long straights. I mean, there's pretty much 2 straights. So if you don't have to lead, then it's quite nice. So just kind of floating in the feet can help to just save some energy. And and then on the bike, I think it's just one of the days where I just had fun. And I didn't, of course, I was in pain, but it's these very rare days you have in long distance racing, everything coming together. And I think that was one of that days where I just felt, I was in the flow and I could just ride hard and have fun. And that's when I normally ride the best. And then the run as well was quite good. I had my best marathon. And I think that also same on the flow when you on the canal, there I really like it because it's just, you have a bit of a breeze and you have the gravel, which, it's, I think with the Hoka Rocket X2 is really good, because there you can still find the ground. So I found it really helpful. I was, just trying to keep the time, and I managed to run my best marathon. So just one of these rare days, and it's when everything comes together, it's really special. I've had other days there where I fall a little bit more apart, but it's just part of the game. And so maybe I don't know if I should give you some inside tips. I don't know. Or, I think so. If I can. I mean, you're a pro, you don't really need inside tips, but in Roth, just, I think, it's a river still. So even though they stop it, I find there's still a bit of a current. So just make sure to use it in your favor in the way down, on the way up. So even if it's, I think on the way back, it's a bit longer to go on the side, but it's definitely faster. So hide in, like, don't swim against the current. Even it's not much. And then, I think on the bike, you don't need advice. I think it's a perfect course for you, really, like the rolling hills. You just need power on that course. And that's it's all you have or all you need, you have already. So I think that's perfect course for you. And then also on the run, I think that first downhill is a little bit tricky, just, I mean, I always try to use it to get into a flow, and then kind of start pushing on the canal, because that's where, you can, I mean, most of it is on the canal. And then that, I don't even know if they changed it again, but I think it's still, on the way up, you still have that little hill. So I think there you're going to hurt anyway. So don't really think about it. It's just, you're going to get your way up. Even on my best day, I struggled there, but it's just, it's part of the game. So embrace it. But
you.
Otherwise just have fun. I think that's all I can say. The crowd will help you.
Yeah, I can imagine the German crowd's going to be right behind you, Fred, the entire way. So I'm sure that will give you a bit of extra legs when you're doing it. Danny, I love that, and just it's always funny or interesting hearing another pro talk to another pro about sort of race tips and how you would describe things. Is there three things, if we just break it down, or it doesn't have to be three, it could be two, it could be four, but is there anything sort of like that Fred doesn't know that he should know about Roth? Anything fun? Anything that you sort of you completely unaware until you actually race Roth? What would those things be?
Well, make sure you go to the finish line party at 12 o'clock. So that's important. It's a really good show. Definitely suggest that. But otherwise,
is that the food trucks? I've heard.
No, it's just a really nice firework and very emotional. Everyone coming together and just celebrating, and it's really nice. Like they really make it something special. So it's really worth staying up, even though.
Oh, that's at midnight.
It's at midnight when the last finishers come in. So it's really quite special. And
well, the winner, I imagine the winner has to go to that. So, Fred, hopefully you will have to.
Yes,
be there
I hope you have to go. But if even not, then I suggest you should go. But I think
okay. So midnight.
Yes, that, and then I mean, I think I just said it with the river and the rolling course, and don't go crazy in the Solar Hill, even if it's tempting. And don't forget to eat. I think that's the whole point. Or, I mean, even though it's the whole, that's where you can lose the game, just get these carbs in. And I think even if you don't feel like them, especially on the bike, it's just, get them in. And I think then on the run, I remember, actually, that's one thing. Sometimes on the canal, the stations feel quite long because it's just straight. So I think it's going to be warm. And I remember one time I thought it was like, I think it was like 21K and 27. And so in my calculation, it was like, just 6K. But I think on the 21, I didn't take enough water. And then it felt a very long time till 27. So just use the aid stations there for also cooling.
The good news this year is that aid stations, it says on the website, are every 2 kilometers.
Okay, wow. Then you have, you have the luxury treatment then.
Easy now.
I was looking at Fred's bike and run plan and just putting the last touches on that he was looking at, and I was looking on the website to see how far they were apart, and it's apparently 2 kilometers and 17.5 kilometers on the bike. But I did notice one thing that I had on there, and we talked about, is using Coke as a product. But then there's a German cola. Have you seen? You must be familiar with the name of this cola.
Is it Fritz Cola?
I think so. I'll tell you. Is it nice?
I hope it has some sugar in there. The worst is if they replace something which has less carbs or sugar in there, then it's like, why would you make it less calories? We need the calories.
It has 10 grams of sugar per 100 mils, so it's pretty much on par with Coke. It's just whether it's palatable. And then I went down the wormhole of like reading around this product and finding out what the taste profile was. Apparently, it's very low fizz. It has a candy cola taste. So I don't know if you haven't drunk it before, Fred. Definitely
I know.
Have a few bottles.
It's good. It's good. I like it. I like it as well. Yeah.
I like Red Bull better, but
Are there any questions you've got, Fred, in terms of Daniela's experience with Roth? Is there anything that you feel like you don't quite have a handle on at this point in time?
Well, I think there's a lot. So in the end of the day, like I think I just have to get into it. I think Danny already gave me some good insights. Other than that, I think it's just like super excited to race, ready or not. But will definitely be a good day out. And I kind of hope it will be actually it will be hot. I think like especially the European heat, like not like Singapore hot, but I think the European heat suits me quite well. And then with the aid station every 2K, I think that's manageable.
Yeah, I think it plays pretty well into your hands with those two factors coming in.
You'll be fine.
Exactly.
Just have fun.
Fred?
I think that's also
Yeah, exactly.
And then learning by doing.
I shouldn't forget that. Yeah.
Can't be ready for a long distance race. I think it's just there's.
I think Sebastian Kienle once said that when you feel ready for a long distance race, you're probably overtrained.
Yeah, most likely.
Oh, I think it's exactly like Danny said. It's like the nerves and all that, the anticipation going in. If you don't have that, then there's probably something wrong. So if it does all go according to plan, Fred, dare I ask what your goal is? That's really difficult. I mean, obviously, like you're always there to win as a professional. So I won't say that I don't want to win the race, but I just like obviously can't control the performance of the others. Maybe some of them have like a insanely good day. So in the end of the day, it's like I think especially on a long distance, you also have to stay within yourself. But I definitely hope
if not the win, that it's going to be enough for a podium. That would be, I think, great for my first long distance, and something I would be really, really happy with.
If we broke it down into, say, swim, bike, run, do you have sort of set targets for that? Like in particular, the bike, what are you targeting there?
So I'm a bit like looking at the sub 4 hours on a bike. I think it's something, like it's my strength, and I obviously want to play it well, like Dani did as well. Like don't want to keep back too much. So I hope I will have a good day, and it won't also. Of course, I won't smash myself to go sub 4 hours only to walk the marathon afterwards. But that would be, I think, something to look at time wise. And then I think with a sub 4 hour bike, you already if you can run as like a solid marathon, I think you will be definitely up for a great race.
Yeah. And Danny, what will you be looking at? You're obviously going to be out there. Are you commentating at Roth?
No, I'm not. I will be there Thursday, Friday, with Hoka, and I think we're doing some cooking together, right?
Yeah, I
with
believe.
You, right?
Yeah. I think there's a bit going on. What are you going to be looking at in Fred's performance? Like, what were the things that you'll be looking for?
I mean, yeah, he's a pro. He knows what to do, and in the end, I definitely believe it's a great race for him. The course suits him well, and yeah, it's pretty good statement to start with a sub 4 bike. And so yeah, I think he's having a good attitude also in terms of kind of focusing on yourself. That's also what I always would try to do, and then of course you get influenced a little bit by the others, but I think I don't have any expectations, so yeah, I mean I'm just going to be interested. I think after the race you'll be saying this is what I want to do, because I feel like I'm surprised you haven't done long distance races before. And I'm really happy that you decided to do it. So I'm excited to watch you and see how the day unfolds for you.
I think the world of triathlon's pretty happy, Fred, to be honest, that you've actually made the decision to transition in. I think it's look, I'm positive that it will be a very positive day. And I think it'll be the first of many great races at the full Ironman distance. And I think, doing Roth is a lovely stepping stone towards you racing Kona eventually as well, and being involved in another iconic race. So I think everyone's pretty pumped to see you perform at Roth. And I think, with that, I think we can probably sign it off. I think what will be great if you are going to Roth, we will be out there, Fuelin, with Humango and also with Rizon. We'll be in and around their booths at the expo. Daniela, we're catching up. We're going to be doing some, hopefully we'll do a live podcast and maybe some cooking, which should be interesting. You can put my knife skills to shame like Jan did. He stitched me up in Singapore, though. He gave me a blunt knife. So, so that'd be good. And
I think we'll be on the expo on Friday, from what I heard. We're still planning, but I think somewhere at lunchtime we do something on the expo. So yeah, make sure the ones who listen to come by.
Yeah, it should be great. And Fred, I believe we're going to catch up, and we'll probably try and do some live stuff as well, and just connect before the race. Obviously, the focus is well and truly on the race and not doing anything stupid beforehand. But it'll be great to connect, and obviously just to meet, I think, all the German triathletes, the German athletes, and the German public. Certainly from a Fuelin perspective, we're very excited. It's going to coincide with the launch of the German app as well, which we're very excited about. So looking forward to seeing both of you in person. And mate, I'm truly excited about seeing you race on the weekend for Roth. I think as I say, I think it's going to be a cracker.
Yeah, thanks, God, and excited to see you both.
Good luck and have fun.
Thank you.
Awesome.
And
Thanks
for the
everyone.
insights.
Speak to you soon.